Dr. Wood, author of the book Miracles in Minutes. And today I'm going to follow one of the constructs that I do is like a contrarian lifestyle, which is I do the opposite of what everybody else does. So the world's kind of backwards, man. I think there's a Seinfeld episode. It's pretty interesting. And one day George did the opposite thing. And they're sitting at the table and they're like, George, that woman over there is staring at you. Here's what typically what I would normally do, what I'd comfortably do, would I just sit here, think about it, and walk out or lie to her. So he walks over and says, Hi, I'm George. I live in my parents' basement. Would you like to go out? She's like, Sure, that's great. So he did the exact opposite he wanted to do. And it's funny that I tend to use that construct in Miracles in Minutes is if you're doing, let's suppose you bend forward and it causes pain, try bending backwards. Guess what? It might get rid of the pain. You're like, I don't get it. Like, yeah, it can be that simple, dude. So I'm going to cover a little bit different thing, and it's between head and heart. Most of us have it reversed. Someone says something good about us, and it goes to our head, and we get a big fat head and a big ego. Someone says something bad about us and goes in our heart, and we're like, oh, and start shrinking, you know? So most people are living in their head and not in their heart. So what does that mean to live in your heart? To live in your emotion, to live, what is your heart? There's an inner calling within yourself. I call it passion, man. Like, I want to live passionately. Like, I'm only here once. Like, I want a passionate relationship. I write letters to my kids from my heart. Like, I'd be a coward, you know, if I died and didn't tell my mother and father I loved them. Like, what am I going to do? Talk to the box? Oh, they were here and I never told them I loved them. Like, but I'm going to tell it to the box. Like, what? They can't hear you now, you coward. Like, you know, what is that? It was fear stopping you from telling someone how you feel. And you know what matters? It's how you feel about them. Get in your heart and learn how to start writing letters from there. Practice. Like, well, I can't write like you, Dr. Wood. And, you know, like, what do you think? I started out like as a baby and I got this natural writing skill that I could write. I was horrible at it. I messed it up a bunch of times. But I just got into like, you know, how do I really feel about them? And what do I admire about them in my heart, not from my head. I'm not trying to blow smoke up their butt. I'm like, you know, I really, you know, admire you. Like, there's one guy in the gym I've seen. I was gonna say his name's Jason, and I saw this guy work out, you know, come from nothing, and like he's dedicated, he's every day. And I was like, you know what? It's a dude. You know, I respect you, man. Like, you really turn things around. You know, I really think you're awesome, and I just want to tell you that from my heart. You know, I acknowledged him. You know, like, who doesn't want to be acknowledged? My mother the other day, we were having a conversation, and she's she's a nurse, and, you know, she's worked 76 years old. She still works full time taking care of Alzheimer's patients and stuff. And, you know, she talked about some employees, and, you know, you had the employees were, you know, messing around and doing some stuff, and even a dementia patient's like, you know, the people today, like, what the hell? Like, even them with dementia are recognizing they're playing around and not doing their job, and they don't care about the goddamn residents. You're hired to take care of people, and you're getting paid for it, and you're screwing off and not taking care of these people. You got a problem. So not only do we need to, you know, admonish that stuff, but what doesn't happen, but what the Ritz Carlton does is every day they have a team meeting and they acknowledge people. Today's about Jim. Jim went out of his way for a customer. Let's tell the experience of what Jim did. Jim did this, Jim did that, and let's all clap for Jim because Jim did a great thing. Yay! You know, like, who doesn't want a pat on the back and some acknowledgement for a job well done? And I think as parents, too, we need to consider that. As mates, you know, our spouses do something wonderful, consider that. Like, we'll tell them when they do something wrong, but we don't ever, like, acknowledge, like, hey, you know what? I want to tell you how much I appreciate you doing the laundry for me every day. You know, I just want to thank you for that. We forget to acknowledge people for what they do for us. That comes from your heart, man, from your heart. You know, if they weren't here, you know, they're dead and you never had laundry again, or they didn't cook for you again, or they didn't, you know, whatever it is special that your spouse or your kid or your employee or somebody does. I know we're good at admonishing people, but what about on the other side, something from your heart says, look, I want to acknowledge you for these skills, for being this type of person, for going out of your way. And I just want to tell you, thank you, and I really appreciate that. You know, we're good at biasing towards punishment or discipline, but don't forget to put the acknowledgement side in, acknowledge people for what they do well. And that comes from the heart. So when you start coming from your heart more often and you get into the observer mode, when stuff comes from the outside and someone goes, you know what, Dr. Wood, I really don't care about you, da da da, and that goes in my head and it goes one ear, out the other ear. Now if I don't have my head and heart right, connect it right, and I got them reversed, they say, Dr. Wood, I think you're real, da 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 da, and I take it in my heart. I'll take it personally. I'll internalize it. It'll crush my emotional centers. But then all of a sudden someone, compliments me or does something nice and it goes right to my head. And you know how I treat the person afterwards? Like a piece of crap. Because it went to my head. So, heart, head, get them reversed. Where is your heart? What does it feel like to come from your heart? What are you passionate about? I'm passionate about helping people. I'm passionate about living a great life and seeing what I could do. I'm passionate about my kids being the best they can be. I'm passionate about being a great father, whatever that is. And I make mistakes all the time. And if I screw up, I'll take responsibility for it, and I'll figure out what the hell I did wrong. And maybe I need to read a book and on compassion. Maybe I need to read on emotional intelligence. Maybe I need to read about communication skills. Maybe I need to practice my attitude that I'm not listening that well. I need to practice my listening skills. So, I'm all for going for it and then tweaking it along the way of where I'm a little off. Even if an airplane doesn't even fly straight. The whole time it's going a little bit left, a little bit right. If you're going on a boat, it goes a little bit left and a little bit right. If no one's there to figure out if you're on the center line, you think you're flying straight and you won't even make it where you're going. Life's not a straight line. It's not. So getting to that heart, you have to be conscious, you have to be aware. Why get up? Why get up if you're not going to get up and do something that comes from your heart? Like, I want to make a difference in this world. I want to have a great life, man. I want to have an impact. I want to leave a legacy. I was here. I made a dent. I did something. And so some of these videos are for, like if I've been given gifts and I have the ability to understand certain things and take complex subject matter and distill it down that people can catch on, I'm going to do that. Also, here's another gift. Maybe my kids can show it to their grandkids one day. Who was your grandfather? Who's your great grandfather? Who's your great 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 grandfather? What kind of life did he live? And I have a legacy now out there in the world. I thought it'd be cool. I'm not trying to be narcissistic, but I thought it'd be cool if I could see my grandfather in his prime or my great grandfather. Like, who was he? What did he look like? And what did he say? And what did he stand for? So, this is all coming from the heart. Get your head and heart right. You get that right, you start living right, and you'll have a great life.